We
8?
have 6 factions.
6 factions. So just open and close
Yeah,
or
we're going to adjourn. You can mention all the beginning and then say we're
Adjourn.
going to adjourn for 5 minutes.
Good morning, members of parliament, support staff, visitors in the public tribune, radio listeners, TV viewers, and members of the media. Welcome to this meeting of the Committee of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transport, and Telecommunication for today, Tuesday, November 7, 2023. I would like to give a special welcome to the representatives of the Philipsburg Market Place Vendors, Ms. Ingrid Grill, Ms. Florel, Mr. Placer, and Ms. Wilmay. We have established a quorum of 6 members. Please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have received notice of absence from the following committee members: MP Gums, MP De Weaver, MP Rumu, and MP Emmanuel. At this time, we have some technical difficulties, so we'll be adjourning the meeting for 15 minutes? 15 minutes. Meeting adjourned for 15 minutes. Ready?
Yeah, okay.
Good morning and welcome back. I would like to give a special welcome to the representatives of the Philipsburg Market Place. And we are at the point of notifications. Are there any other notifications? MP Sarah Westcott-Williams has. MP Westcott-Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and a very good morning to you. A good morning to my colleagues. A good morning to our support staff, our Secretary General, and of course, a good morning and a welcome to the representatives of the Philipsburg Market Place. Welcome. We're glad to have you here this morning to, albeit that for me, your story and your plight are well known. Nevertheless, it's good to have you in Parliament to again put the situation that you are facing forward. Mr. Chairman, this week is a meeting week of Parliament, as we call it. For a general explanation, this means that primarily in these types of weeks, matters, especially urgent matters of Parliament, will be dealt with. With much anticipation, we looked forward to a meeting that was scheduled yesterday as a continuation of a meeting regarding GEBE. Yesterday, we and the public of St. Martin received a postponement of this meeting, while in the convocation it was stated that this meeting was confirmed by the Prime Minister of St. Martin. The continuation of the GB meeting on Monday was, according to what we received, confirmed by the Prime Minister. Her attendance to that meeting to provide answers to the many questions posed was confirmed. Was received. The confirmation was received. Then we received a letter yesterday on behalf of the President of Parliament that this meeting is postponed until further notice. No explanation, no date when these answers will be provided. Nevertheless, we see where government ministers are busy, as they call it, canvassing. Maybe, just maybe, consideration should be given to having a recess for campaign like they do in the Netherlands. Maybe, just maybe. Because really the way that we're going, where meetings of Parliament on issues such as GB are concerned, we're not going to be getting out of it. If the government and those in Parliament are considering such a recess, at least let's make sure that matters like the budget, the amended budget 2023, is put to Parliament before such is taken into consideration. Tomorrow, according to the schedule of Parliament, we have the National Health Insurance. There too, it is stated that the minister will come back tomorrow, Wednesday, to provide answers to questions asked by members of Parliament on this all-important matter of the National Health Insurance. So to the President of Parliament, my question is, do we have the assurance of the Minister of VSA that he will be in Parliament tomorrow to answer the questions regarding the National Health Insurance? Mr. Chairman, for the last, 3, 4, if not more weeks, I have a request pending for a question hour. I have asked about it at least 3 times. I have asked the President of Parliament, and every time the answer has been, I'll discuss it in Presidium. Is the Minister of CTEATT refusing to come to a question hour of Parliament to provide answers to questions that are in Parliament and live out there regarding public transportation? When we talk in public transportation, let me explain what we're talking about. Taxi, bus, tours, groups, etc., etc. So my question is, has the minister refused to attend a question hour of Parliament? Mr. Chairman, we're still awaiting the indexation of the pensions of the people of St. Martin that should have gone into effect January 2023. 2023. We hear nothing. We hear nothing. Parliament receives no update after passing the law Now a decree needed to be done by the government of St. Martin, no longer Parliament, the government of St. Martin. Where is that decree? Where is it, Mr. Chairman? Yet we are expected to kindly take note of what the meetings that the Presidium and the President of Parliament decide to schedule, and then at last moment, the ones that we are waiting are cancelled, and we come back in here. And we come back in here and hear what the Presidium is going to tell us, which ones are going to cancel. We walk in here with our fingers crossed. With our fingers crossed. You know who was supposed to be sitting here with the representatives of the Philipsburg Market Place? The ministers. The ministers to provide the answers. The whole year, starting in January, reports, statements, press releases about the Philipsburg Marketplace have been read. And today we see a back and forth between the Minister of Finance that this matter is not yet at the Finance Ministry, while in the budget 2023 we read that the loans will be acquired for all of the projects that are on go. They are ready to go. That's what is stated in the budget. So the question would be, this particular marketplace, is it ready to go? And if it's ready to go, what's the hold up? But Mr. Chairman, I'm running ahead of myself. That's for the agenda point for which we're here today. And I want to thank you.
Thank you, MP Sarah Williams. The first point you asked about GB, about the meeting of yesterday. A response was received from the Cabinet of Prime Minister, Minister of General Affairs, on Friday itself that she can't make it, but somehow the communication did not reach Parliament, and a second email showed up the proof. That's why we had to honor that. VSA Minister Omar Otley has confirmed for tomorrow, and the CTEATT Minister wants to be here to answer all the practical questions that has been posed. He himself wants, he has sent his travel schedule. The moment he is back on the island, he will be, the first Monday coming, he'll be in Parliament to answer the question hours. Thank you, and the next person in line is MP Grisha Halligan-Martin. MP Martin, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A pleasant good morning to you. Pleasant good morning to the Secretary General, to our visitors here from the market, and my fellow colleagues, and those listening, viewing, and those in the Tribune. Good morning. Mr. Chairman, I just want to add to Minister of CTEATT, while he's on his travels, that it's been 3 weeks since I haven't received a response yet on the EDC matter. 3 weeks. Can we at least get a letter stating that, hey, I'm traveling. I'm too busy traveling to answer your question. That EDC letter, I would love to have an urgent response to that as soon as possible. Mr. Chairman, if you can, please liaise with the Minister of CTEATT on that, because it's been 3 weeks per the rules of order. I know it's not a law, but it's a guideline, and we have to respect, you know, the rules. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Grisha Halligan-Martin, and it will be done so as your wish. MP George Pantaflet, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to you, Mr. Chairman, the field, my colleagues in Parliament, of course, our honorable guests, Ms. Grell, Plaisir, and also Ms. Florial. Mr. Chairman, I just want to also express that I think it's important that the Minister of CTEATT be present in order to at least answer the questions. I'm sure their presentation is going to be given today, and there are going to be questions posed that probably we as Parliament definitely can't answer, or is not our authority to answer certain things, because that's the preview of the Minister. I, for one, know exactly what is happening with regards to the market, because I pass it just about every day. I see when the rain falls, and sometimes the roads get wet and so on, and they got to be packing and then unpacking, and then I do not know how we all have the stamina to do so. But I believe that this matter, which has been ongoing for quite a long time now, for too long, I believe it will be resolved. But again, I believe it's important that the Minister is here to give us the answers. We have had days that were given, and then it changed because, of course, there are things that happen. One of the things I learned in life, You plan a lot of things and so on, but then you have to deal with other individuals or organizations who kind of place a stumbling block in your way, not intentionally, and then it causes things to delay. But I believe that this thing should be done as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP George Pantaflet. No more notifications. Oh, MP Bryson, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I did hear you mention regarding the GB meeting, the reason for the postponement, but was there a time frame when the meeting would actually happen?
There was no indication of any time frame, but we'll get on to that and at least get a date set for that one. No more notifications, so I move on to the agenda point for this committee meeting. Discussion with the Philipsburg Market Place Vendors regarding ongoing concerns affecting the vendors for the past 5 years under document IS/138/2023-24, dated October 25th, 2023. We go over to the agenda point. On October 25th, 2023, Parliament received a letter from the Philipsburg Market Place Vendors with the request for a meeting of this committee to discuss the aforementioned agenda point. Hence today, this meeting. At this time, I would like to give the floor to the spokesperson for the Philipsburg Marketplace Vendors, Ms. Ingrid Grell, for some introductory remarks and a presentation. Ms. Grell, you have the floor. Press the button.
Pleasant good morning to you, Mr. Chairman of Parliament. Good morning to the members of Parliament. Good morning to all the vendors who are listening. Good morning to the media and who are here with us this morning. We say pleasant good morning to you. We are here this morning because of some issues that we have concerning the marketplace. I need for the members of Parliament, since the Minister of CTEATT is not here, I would like the members of Parliament and you, Mr. Chairman, to take a look at our slides that we have and to take a good look at us over the past 5 years. And we have 2 pictures here in our presentation where it shows you our present situation that we are in right now, and it shows the past situation that we had before. So if you look at the bottom of your slide, this is what the marketplace looked like before Hurricane Irma. These are the booths that was built for us by Mr. Theo Heiliger when he was in government. And this was how we were situated. We was happy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a point of order because already twice the allusion has been made as if the Minister of CTEATT's presence was expected in this meeting. This is a committee meeting of CTEATT with a third party that wishes to present to Parliament. It is definitely not customary for a minister to sit with the third party present in such a meeting. What I would expect is what would happen is based on the information that's shared from the representatives of the marketplace, then a follow-up meeting could be called with the Minister of CTEATT, but just not to create the impression that the minister was called to this meeting and he is not present. I think that needs to be clarified.
Thank you, MP Bryson. I believe that's how it is going to be. We're going to take up all the points, and then, if need be, we'll invite the minister for a meeting to get the answers for all the questions raised. You may continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I will go back. If you look at the presentation that we have at the bottom of the screen, you would see the marketplace that we had before the 5 years ago. That was built by Mr. Theo Heiliger. And after Hurricane Irma, this marketplace was torn down. And we were left in a situation where we were supposed to be removed from there. I came to Parliament, and I addressed at Parliament, and we were returned back there with an understanding and with a promise that the marketplace will be replaced. We are 5 years now away from where we was before. Look at the state of what we are still in 5 years after. Mr. Chairman, on the market we have overgrown trees, very much big overgrown trees, as you would see, that is covering even the tents that we are under. And these overgrown trees are badly kept. They are filled with iguanas that are peeing and pooing all over the place. Even when the tourists are in the market, I remember one day a tourist came at my stall to purchase some stuff, and while she was there, iguanas are animals, and that's what they will be. They don't know any difference, and he came on the branch, and he did what he had to do. And it fell on the tent, and it fell right in front of the tourist. And she was like, oh, you guys have poo here. And the smell of it is not something nice. It's very, very stinks. And these trees has never been pruned. They had never been cut. They have never been taken care of. And our tents are under these trees. And we feel in danger with our tents. The reason why, Mr. Chairman, these tents that we bought here, a couple of times we were approached and said, the National Alliance government bought these tents for you. I said, no, they didn't. They said, yes, the government bought. I said, no. Every vendor that is here went and purchased our tents. And these tents, Mr. Chairman, we bought them for $200 at the time back then. Right now, they're $300 plus for these tents. And with these overgrown trees, when the wind blow, a couple of months ago, we had a tropical storm that passed, Philippe. You know, we call him the drunken tropical storm because he didn't know what he was actually doing. He was up, down, sideways. And one of the branches from these trees fell, and it was just inch away from one of our tents from breaking it. And these tents are they're not concrete, so they're not strong. Any branch from these trees will actually destroy our tent in 1 minute. So we are asking, Mr. Chairman, for the Minister of CTEATT to please get some guys in. We would like these trees to be cut and pruned and be properly taken care of and look nice because it's a marketplace. So we would like it to look nice and try and see how much we can get rid of some of these animals that make these trees their residence because of the overgrown that they are. And I mean, once they're there, I'm looking for a home, so I'm going to take it up as my residence. Mr. Chairman, the next agenda I would like to speak about is the sign for the marketplace. Before Hurricane Irma came, there were 2 signs that were erected. One was erected by the courthouse, and one was erected on the boardwalk. And these signs gave the visitors and the tourists the indication that the marketplace is behind the courthouse. So there is a marketplace that exists on St. Martin. And even though you might not see us on the boardwalk or you might not see us on the front street, we are there and we are located behind the courthouse. Now these signs was broken down or destroyed when Hurricane Irma passed, which we know a lot of stuff was destroyed. On numerous occasions, I have spoke about these signs. I have spoke to the Minister of CTEATT about re-erecting back these signs to let the visitors, the tourists know that we're there. It still has not happened. So we are asking you, Mr. Chairman, to the minister, to please, if he can get in touch with Mr. Martin Wilson, because he was the first one that erected these signs for us. He works for the Minister of CTEATT. So these signs can be replaced back so the visitors who comes, because Mr. Chairman, when the tourist comes off the tender, the first thing they see is the boardwalk. And the boardwalk is an attraction. Why? Because of the sea. They want to hang out in the sun. They want to lay back, get their suntan, and go. So they would not know that there is a marketplace behind there. It's just a few tourists that will venture and walk looking around, and they will see the tents, and they will walk towards it, and then they will know that there is a marketplace there. So, Mr. Chairman, through you, I would like this question to go to the minister, that we, the marketplace vendors, are requesting that these two signs, one be erected back at the courthouse and one be erected back on the boardwalk, to be replaced back, please, so the tourists can be known. We can be known that we are there, because where we are in a blind spot. No one will really know that we're there. Now we come to the heart of why we are here, the new marketplace. From 5 years ago, we had Irma that passed through St. Martin, and it was because of the roof of the fire department that came, and it took down 2 of our booths, only 2. But at the time, the government that was in said that the booths was not safe, and they removed them. And in order for these booths to be removed, they had to be cut with a grinder, because these booths was anchored down in the cement, and they were anchored with some solid steel. So even though the roof of the fire department came and hit the 2 booths, they was only shaken. They will not fall down, but the roof of the booths, you know, was a bit cracked. And these booths could have been repaired, Mr. Chairman. But they see it fit that they did not want, as I can say, that they did not want us there anymore, so they used that and said, oh, the booths are not safe to be there. But then, Mr. Chairman, when you look at it, those booths that they said that was not safe enough for us to work in and for us to be there, those same booths was erected and was placed on the boardwalk for us to go and to work in. So, Mr. Chairman, what were they really trying to tell us there? They were not safe enough for us, for us to go back to work in them, where they were situated first, but they're now safe to be placed on the boardwalk for us to go in. Now, in January, we had a very wonderful minister, Mr. Lawrence, who came in, and he went and he did some talks on our behalf in getting the marketplace back in order, you know, in trying to get it fixed up, to make us happy, and to also make it presentable to the tourists when they come. So he went and he had some talks with the cruise line. But unfortunately, which it hurt us, it hurt me, he fell sick and he could no longer. And then it was taken up by Minister Otley. Minister Otley, I spoke with him on many times. We, the association here, we had meeting with him. And he was eager. He ran with this. Because I remember him telling me, he said, Miss Grail, when the marketplace was removed, I was one who was there, and we were removing that marketplace, and it hurt me. It really hurt me to see it happen. And he said, I'm going to do my utmost best to get you all back something good. And he took up after Mr. Lawrence, and he went and he got the architect, because we was involved in every step that he made. We was involved. The marketplace come into play, where it was sketched and everything was done by Mr. Otley. We had a meeting in the government building with him, where he showed us on the screen what it's going to look like and how beautiful it was. And I was so excited. I ran to Lady Grace's show with it because I was like, hey, we're finally going to get something good. And, you know, and we're going to be recognized. And some of the plans that he had was good because the taxis will come there. The cruise ships is involved. So which means it is telling us if the cruise ships is involved, is the cruise line is involved, which means this marketplace will be advertised on board. So definitely, the tourists, when they comes off the ship, then they will know that we're there because once it's advertised, they will come looking for us. So I was so excited. I was like, hey, we was on cloud 9. You know, like when you're in love and you reach on cloud 9, that's how we were. And then Mr. Utley had to put down the portfolio for the new minister, Minister Lambrecht, who came in. But before Minister Lambrecht came in, Minister Utley told us that the marketplace construction will start in April this year. He assured us that it will start in April this year. I have my board here with me, so they can say that what she's saying is the truth, and we was looking forward to it. Minister Lambrecht took over. And when Minister Lambrecht took over, Mr. Chairman, I had to actually call Mr. Kevin Mangret because I got his connection from Mr. Omar Utley because he worked very closely with Mr. Omar Utley with us with the marketplace. So since Mr. Kevin Mangret was the only connection that I had to get in touch with the minister, Mr. Chairman, I'm telling you the truth, I was not giving his phone a break. Because we saw April came and nothing was going on. They did not even come to us and say, hey, this thing is postponed. So when I see the ending of April came, I did not give Mr. Kevin Mangret a chance. I kept calling him until I got a response. I got a response from Mr. Lambrecht. He came on the marketplace along with Mr. Kevin Mangret, and he told us that it is still season. The season has not finished yet. And right now, carnival time is coming on, and he don't want to do it now because to rebuild the marketplace, the whole place is going to be in a mess. So he turned to us and he said, wait until the season is finished and wait until carnival is finished, and then we will remove you all. But he said, Miss Grail, the problem is I have to remove you and I don't know where to put you. So we turned to him and we said, Minister, when Mr. Theo Halliger was building the marketplace before, he placed us in the parking lot next to us, opposite to us. So you can do the same. We don't mind. We can go to the parking lot opposite to us. I tell him it's already lined out, so everyone just take a space, and we can hang out there until when the marketplace is already done. So he said, okay, it's a good idea because I was wondering where am I going to put you guys when I start to rebuild this place because everything here has to go. So he said, okay, I'm going to speak to the Minister of Vomi, and I'm going to get the okay from the Minister of Vomi, and I'm going to place you guys there. And he left. Now we waited, and June came because he said that the marketplace was supposed to start building in June. And June came, and July came, and August came, and we got nothing. We heard nothing. So I went on Lady Grace's breakfast morning show, and I spoke about it. And just the same time when I got off of the Lady Grace show, when I entered the market, I met Minister Lambrex, I met Kevin Manguet, and I met Francisco La Cruz was on the market. He came to me and he said, Ms. Guel, we were waiting on the okay from the Minister of VOMI to get the okay to place you guys at the parking lot. That was the holdup because we did not get the okay. He said, I already have the tent. It is in a container. He said he got the tent from the airport, Mr. Chairman. He said, I don't know what condition it is in, Mr. Chairman, but we have the tent for you. I don't want all of you guys to take your tents and go over in the parking lot with it. So I have gotten a tent from the airport, and I'm going to open it because it's a big tent where all of you can place under. So I turned to him and I said, that's a good idea, Minister. So we all can hold on to it, it's not a problem. He says, yes. But I am still waiting on the okay from the Minister of VOMI. And I turned to him and I said, Minister, if this is a government project, what is the holdup? What is just an okay to place us there so the marketplace can be rebuilt, because it's a much needed marketplace that we need. The condition we are working in is not good. But we are there. You know the reason why we are there, Mr. Chairman? I'm going to tell you my age. I am 56 years old. And if I go to any one of those Indian stores on Front Street, or if I go to any business place to look for a job, you know what they're going to tell me? I'm too old. So this is our only ways and means of income. This is why we are there every day. We are not there every day, Mr. Chairman, because we go there and we make a lot of money. We are there because we don't have no other income but there. So we go out and we try our best to see what we can get to provide for our families. We are women. Some of us are single parents. We have children. We have children in school. School fee has to be paid. House rent has to be paid. Clothes has to buy. We have to buy food. GB has to be paid. And these days, the bills are ridiculous. One time you get a $100 bill, and it's a $200 bill, then it's a $300 bill. It's ridiculous. But we do have our finances for ourselves that we have to take care of. This is why we are there every day. I mean, I can go to the government building and go to the labor office and put in for understand. They would have to give it to me. But I don't want to rely on the government. We don't want to rely on the government for a dollar. We want to make our own money. And this is why we're there. And this is happening. Now the minister went in the Daily Herald and on Lady Grace show, and he said that at the end of September, the marketplace will be built. This time he came back to me on the marketplace, and he said, by the 15th of September, I am moving your guys to the parking lot. I have everything now. I have the permit. I have the okay from the Minister of VOMI. The marketplace is on a set to go. And the 15th of September, you guys are out of here. You guys are in the parking lot. You got to move everything from here. We don't want anything here, because when we come in on the 15th, if we meet anything here, we're going to take it and we're going to throw it away. So we was like, yes, sir, hooray. The 15th of September came, the 31st of September came. Mr. Chairman, today is the 7th of November. And we have not heard back one thing from the Minister of CTEATT, nor not from Francisco La Cruz, and I cannot say for Mr. Manguet anymore because I read that he has resigned. We have not heard anything from anyone. So now, Mr. Chairman, our question, Mr. Chairman, to you, to Minister Lambrex, to the Minister of Finance, and to the Minister of VOMI. Take a good look at our situation on the marketplace. This is our situation on the marketplace. This is what we go through every day. Mr. Chairman, I'm asking you, please, we would like some answers from the Minister of CTEATT, from the Minister of Finance, and from the Minister of VOMI. To the Minister of Finance, I am a person that listens to everything that goes on in Parliament. There is nothing that goes on in Parliament that passes me. I have never heard the marketplace mentioned in the budget in Parliament. I have never heard the marketplace mentioned in the budget in Parliament. I am telling you what I did not heard. Now, I would like the Minister of Finance to please let us know what is going on. Because we know the money is there to rebuild the marketplace. It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years, Mr. Chairman. And 5 years is not 5 days. 5 years is not 5 weeks. And 5 years is not 5 months. It's 5 years we have been suffering. And we are not going to suffer any longer. We are not going to take it any longer. Now to the Minister of VOMI. Mr. Chairman, the question to you, we would like to know what is the problem, why the location for us to be relocated at the parking lot is not granted for us to be relocated so the marketplace can be rebuilt. Mr. Chairman, it is not a vendor's thing, because that marketplace, we are owned by the government, by the Minister of CTEATT himself. We are owned by him. Every year we have to pay our yearly tax to the Minister of CTEATT's office. It goes there. So you can say, Mr. Chairman, that we are his children. Why are you not taking care of your children? You're just feeding from your children, but you're not taking care of your children. Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Lambrix, Minister Lambrix, we need some answers. And Mr. Chairman, we don't want to be toyed with. We don't want to be pushed around. We don't want to be treated as though like we are children, because we are not. We want to know the truth, and we want to know the facts, and we want to know it now. We want to know what is the holdup for the rebuilding of the marketplace. And we are emphasizing on that. We need to know the holdup, and we need to know it now. Mr. Chairman, we are giving the Minister of CTEATT 2 weeks. 2 weeks to bring answers to the Parliament, to us, about the holdup of the marketplace. Why the marketplace construction has not started yet, why we cannot get a good understanding for what is the holdup of the marketplace. We are the stakeholders, and we need to know. We don't like to be left in the dark, and we have been left in the dark. We are being toyed. We have been played with. And Mr. Chairman, our lives should not be played with politics. And Mr. Chairman, how I looked at this is politics playing. Do not play with our lives with politics. Because we are not going to accept that, Mr. Chairman. I am very sorry. We are strong people, and we stand up for ourselves, and we stand up for what is right. This marketplace was in the making since in April. Then we heard June. Then we heard September. We are in November, and there is nothing is being said. Mr. Chairman, I am letting you to know we are the vendors. And we are letting you to know, Mr. Chairman, that if we don't, we the vendors of the marketplace, if we cannot get something that is suitable for us, and no more playing, because Ingrid Guel does not accept playing. And Ingrid Guel does not accept to be toyed with like a toy. And if we, after 2 weeks, if we cannot get something concrete from the Minister of CTEATT, who we are under, we are his children. And if you cannot take care of us, and if you cannot come to us and say, next week we are going to start building the marketplace and we see it in action, Mr. Chairman, our next step is to the Ombudsman. And I am as serious can be. Because, Mr. Chairman, we suffers out there. Mr. Chairman, I have some slides I want to show you, but it's not. Mr. Chairman, we have been suffering there.
You have something else to show?
Yes,
or
I have some other slides, but it's not the.
Do you want me to adjourn for 5 minutes?
If I can just get, let me see if. Okay, I got it. This is one of our slides, Mr. Chairman. I would like to play it in your hearing. Play it. Okay. Mr. Chairman, this is one of the videos that I took of the marketplace. This section here that you're seeing here, this section here, there is water that is coming here. You know where this water is coming from, Mr. Chairman? It's coming from the bathroom. So the bathroom water is filtering back on the marketplace where the first tent, when you come in on the marketplace is, and it reaches out on the street. This is one of our hazards. This is where the water filters out in the street. So the bathroom, when you use the public bathroom that is here, the water filters back up by us. It comes up. It overtakes the whole Market Street to where Miss Florence booth are. Sometimes it reaches all the way by her, and then it will finds its access over in the street. Mr. Chairman, we have another slide here. And I am not getting any volume. This one has volume because I would really like you to hear it for yourself. I'm not getting the volume on it. I don't know why. But Mr. Chairman, I would like it so much if someone can come and assist me so you can listen to the slide. Now this slide is being shown. Can someone come and give me an assistant? This slide is being shown while it is raining. What happens to us on the marketplace when it's raining? This is what we go through. This is what happens to us. This is what we pass through on a daily basis when it's raining. only wish I could have gotten some. This second slide that I have hit this button.
We'll have to adjourn the meeting for
Okay.
5 minutes so you can have that fixed.
It's on.
No, there's no volume. We can't get, no. That's not possible to get the sound in there.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I took these videos, and in these videos, we have some of our vendors who would have liked to speak to you, Mr. Chairman. And they, here in this video, they are explaining you their condition and how their clothes are being destroyed. This is one of our vendors here. She's actually showing you how much of our stuff have been destroyed when it's rain, when the rain pour down. And this is what we go through on a daily basis. And it's because we can't do better. We are there. But it's because it's at the same time, it's our only ways and means of income. And we have our taxes to pay. We have our children we have to be taken care of. And this is the condition we have been living in the past 5 years. And Mr. Chairman, you know, and the boot of it is that we have MPs that pass through the marketplace every day. We have ministers that pass through the marketplace every day. They pass and they greet you. We will get a few like MP Gracia, MP Westcott, MP Richardson, and MP Mr. Ponteflet. Well, you know, we'd ask you, how is things? How things with y'all? How are you guys holding up? And that's about, what, 4 out of the group. And this is supposed to be our government who are stating that you care for the people. This is the condition that you care so much for the people that you're having your people working in to try to make a living and to pay their taxes. Because, Mr. Chairman, whether you are there or not, whether you make it or not, Mr. Chairman, you have to pay that tax. And I'm talking about the tax that only goes to the CTEATT office. There is a separate tax from your taxes, huh? Every year you have to pay $1,200. Whether you make it or not, you better pay it. You understand? Because that is for you being there. Now, I am paying $1,200 every year, Mr. Chairman, in this condition. And in your heart, as ministers over the CTEATT office, and we have to pay our permit to you, it doesn't hurt you to say, well, they are in a bad condition. They are paying us every month. But the condition that they are working on, let us try and do this as fast as possible so they can be happy and we can be happy too, so they can work in a better place than that. Mr. Chairman, it hurts our hearts to see how we, the market vendors, and everywhere you go, I've been to Aruba. I've been to Curacao. I have been to different islands, and there are marketplaces there, especially Aruba. My husband is from Aruba, so I love Aruba. Aruba is beautiful. And when I visit the marketplace there in Aruba, Mr. Chairman, it is a place out of the world. And it's nowhere like this. This can never even walk in the shoe of the marketplace in Aruba. I am from St. Kitts. They have a marketplace there. The marketplace is top-notch. Now, St. Martin is known as the friendliest island. It is known as the #1 destination to the tourists. And this is the presentation of a marketplace that you're going to present as the #1 destination of the tourists, Mr. Chairman. We are very unhappy. And Mr. Chairman, we would like some answers from the Minister of CTEATT in 2 weeks' time. We would like some answers from the Minister of Finance about the budget of getting the funds available to start rebuilding the marketplace. We would like some answers from the Minister of Vomi in okaying the parking lot for us to be replaced there in the next 2 weeks so the marketplace can be rebuilt. If we don't get the answers, Mr. Chairman, we leave with no other option but to go to take our case to the Ombudsman, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I thank you. I thank the members of Parliament for listening to our cries, for looking at our situations, for hearing our plea. We thank you so much, and we are awaiting our results. God bless you, one and all.
Thank you, Ms. Grill, for your remarks and presentation. And we are very close to your marketplace, and we watch this every day. And we know the problems. Before going over to the members of Parliament for their questions, I would like to take a break of 5 minutes, so we return at 10:40 a.m. Meeting adjourned. Welcome back. Now I would like to give the members of parliament to pose their questions or remarks if they have any. And I know MP Bryson was the first one. MP Bryson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to you, the Secretary General, my colleague, members of Parliament, and to the representatives, as I understand it, from the vendors. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for your presentation. Mr. Chairman, I think it goes without saying, as was correctly stated, we as members of Parliament pass this marketplace every single day. And me, particularly being a member of Parliament that entered in 2018, which was after the hurricane, I had a unique view of seeing how this situation evolved over those years. As a matter of fact, I'll go back a little bit later and show that what was really happening from since 2017. But just one question I do want to ask, Mr. Chairman, if we can get some clarity on. Is it that this is an association of membership of the vendors that we're interacting with? I just wanted to get some clarity on that. Because I did get some messages from some vendors that just want to understand, is this on behalf of all of the vendors? Because some of them are not fully in agreement with some of the statements that have been made here today. So I think it's important to get some clarity as to who we're interacting with, and what the if it's an association, do you all do elections, do you select representatives? I think it's important to get that clarity. But Mr. Chairman, the most important thing today is the solution for what we've seen here. Absolutely. The state in which they are working is not something that I think any member of Parliament should be happy to see. The fact is that at least for our faction and our ministry, it has actually been admitted, there have been various steps taken to make sure that this project can get done. Mr. Chairman, often it was stressed 5 years, and I think that's a very good admittance from Ms. Grell that initially or towards the end of the presentation, it seems to be that it is Leo Lambrix is the cause of all of this, but there was no mention of the immediate opportunities we had right after the hurricane to deal with this situation so that we would not be here in the first place. There was zero mention of a lot of Leo Lambrix and Up Party and our membership. What about the role of the United Democrats 2017, 18, 19? I have actually here a press release from Mr. Stuart Johnson that promised that the market would have been completed by January of 2020. Nice election gimmick, unfortunately did not work for him, but we have to learn from that. And that is why the way we have chosen to function about going about this marketplace is ensuring that every single step is covered. What do I mean by that? The first thing was finding funding. We would not have been in this situation if when those that were desperate to get in government at the time, that wanted to make a deal with the Dutch government to get funding, $0 allocated out of $500 million for the marketplace. Oh, but today we all upset. They're upset that the marketplace ain't get done. Why did no one insist with the trust fund, with the NRPB? Listen, this was destroyed directly as a result of Hurricane Irma. This needs to be one of the first projects on the list. Nowhere in the World Bank agreements do you see the word marketplace or in the National Recovery Report. Those opportunities were lost. So, as usual, we are very happy to clean up the mess and the failures that were done before. So what did we do? It was stated that in this parliament, the marketplace was never mentioned, or that nothing happens in parliament without me seeing it. Mr. Chairman, MP Akeem Arundel brought the first amendment in this parliamentary term related to the marketplace. The following year, we have a presentation right here from the minister where he put on screen one of the key things that we needed to secure funding, the commitment letter from Royal Caribbean to fund the marketplace. Ladies and gentlemen, this project required funding, and it required a process to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Proper, permanent, well-maintained structures. So don't just build it before election and then turn our backs to it. Ensure maintenance is included. Ensure lockers are included. All of that is what encompasses this project. Am I happy that it has taken this long? No, I wish we could have done it right after 2017 for my part. But I know one thing for sure is that we have secured the funding. That was one of the most important things. The capital budget gets approved in Parliament. I think I do think that the minister may have misunderstood the process of capital budgets, because indeed in April, we should have had the capital budget approved in St. Martin. But the process to actually get the funds still has to go to the second chamber, to the first chamber, to the CFT, etc. That part was now secured, from what I understand, in September. The government is not allowed to enter into financial obligations with third parties by law until funding is secured. So when the funding is secured in September, that's when you can put out a bid. That's when you can then, based on what you receive from the bidders, put in for a building permit. That's when you can now finish the process to make sure it's done correctly. Because another thing, and I know it's political season, so maybe the presentation is geared towards trying to highlight others or make them look like they might have been the solution. But I want to caution, Mr. Chairman, that those market stalls, the original ones that we see at the bottom there, those are not built by Theo Heiliger. They were built by the Harbor Group of companies. And we have to be very careful in this country calling politicians names, because this is the type of things that get them in trouble. It was the Harbor Group of companies that built that at the time. And you're calling the good gentleman's name, tying him yet again to a situation at the harbor. That is unfair to him, and I don't think you need to do that. That doesn't score any political points for him or anyone in here, even if they think so. Mr. Chairman, one of the key issues that I observe with this is that the problem with what has happened is that we've continuously seen temporary solutions when they need a permanent solution. What is being presented now by the government, by the Minister of CTEATT, to be able to solve this situation is a well-thought-out, well-written, well-funded process to make sure that they have a permanent solution that covers a lot of the issues. One of the things that hurts me the most about going there is the fact that every day these vendors have to unpack and repack and transport situations. Now I understood that as an option, there will be a locked area where you can store stuff with security that would be provided as well. That's important to give you more convenience to really operate the way you should. All of this has gone into thought. We could have just done it the reckless way in the past, where Minister Johnson just said, hey, we're gonna give you tents. That's what Minister Johnson provided you all. That was it. Before an election. But we didn't want to do that. We wanted to make sure that this is something that can be a symbol in Philipsburg for years to come that you can be proud of. So I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, to all of them that it might have taken this long. But what I can tell you, the funding is approved. The building permit has been signed. Questions was asked about the alternative as to whether you can move, because we have to think about that. You all have to continue to survive after this time. That has also been approved. The space has been reserved. The new tent has been done. But I also caution the minister in saying it, do not move any one of those vendors until the day you are absolutely certain. The day they move, construction starts. Because every day that they go on that side of the building, they need to be looking where their spot is and see, wow, look at it going up. Look at how my marketplace is finally going up. That they go in pride with a sense of hope to know it's coming. 2 more months, 1 more month, 1 more week. Here's your keys. That is the right way to do things. The ways of doing things before, I'm sorry, That just has not worked out in the long run for St. Martin. Having politicians be the ones on an individual level to ask government company to do this and do that, no, that's not the way you get permanent solutions. What I can say, without a doubt, is that the process we're following now is going to be the best for all of them. Mr. Chairman, I too am quite concerned about the timeline, and I've spoken to the minister about it. I've asked informally with the minister, as he is from my political party, to give me a more detailed outline, which he said he's going to send in writing to both the Parliament of St. Martin as well as the vendors. Currently, as I stated earlier, Mr. Chairman, the terms of reference and so on went out because, again, the accountability ordinance states is that you're not allowed to enter into financial commitments with third parties until you have the money approved. So we would have loved from last year or earlier this year to say, hey, J&J Construction, ABC Construction, submit your bids, here's the contract. But you can't give a contract if you don't have the funding finally approved. In September, it was publicly stated that the final approval for all the capital expenditures were done. Immediately then, terms of reference went out. The terms of reference date should be completed it goes to an evaluation committee, of course, again, following all the government processes by the 9th of November, which is currently happening now. The advice is being slated to go to the Council of Ministers by the 23rd of this month, to hopefully then that will be the final step, because at that point contracts can be signed and the work can begin by the 1st of December. I told the minister, if you're informally going to do this, please ensure that it is also written to the Parliament of St. Martin, which Parliament could hope to receive that today. But I think it was important, out of respect for all of those with us today and all of them listening, that they have some type of indication as to when things might be happening. Like I stated earlier, in a committee meeting with a third party, it would not be possible for the minister to, let's say, sit by their side and have an interaction. But the minister is sending that new timeline in writing to Parliament. And that is very important. Mr. Chairman, I want to also emphasize again that the pictures were shown of Minister Lawrence, Minister Otley, and also mention was made of Minister Lambrix. If it's one thing I know all three have in common, is that they are very solution-oriented people. They love St. Martin, and they want to see this. Minister Lambrix has worked in tourism for over 20 years. He understands the value that it brings to Philipsburg when he was part of tour companies, and how they would love to be able to pull over there next to the bank and walk through the marketplace and shop. It's like a nice start or introduction to Philipsburg. My opinion is that the plans with the bus terminal together with the marketplace is going to make this area the center that will breathe life into Philipsburg again. And you all play a key role in that. I admire the hard work and the perseverance you have to endure all of this from 2017. I can speak on behalf of my faction, my party, our ministers. They are doing their utmost to ensure that this is done the right way. No shortcuts, no missing any issues. Ensure that every day that you come there, there's maintenance, there's security for your products. This is a permanent solution. This is not an election gimmick that has happened 3 times already to these market vendors. Because in 2017, you were told, don't worry, the Dutch going to give us the money and we're going to fix it. Yet when they got in, they didn't reserve not 1 guilder for the market vendors. Not one euro, since it came in euros. In 2020, we came in, and we unfortunately were faced with a pandemic and very difficult situation in terms of funding. Because I would have loved, I believe that if not for COVID-19, we would have been able to start this process in 2020, secure the capital budget, and by 2021 or 2022, this would have been completed. 2023 was really the first year, I believe in over a decade, that we've been able to secure funding like this. So to all of them listening, my heart goes out to all of you for your dedication. I want you to know that without a doubt, and I see all of them all the time when they pass me, I think they know me by now. When I speak something, it's because I know what I am saying and that my heart is there to make sure that the job gets done. We have brought budget amendments. As a matter of fact, in 2017, when I was tourism director, there were 2 advices that I drafted for then Minister Melissa Doncher. One of them was for the Kimsha to actually have a permanent structure there. It was originally just supposed to be for 1. Unfortunately, government decided to go in a different direction, but that's the right of then minister. But the second advice, and it's still there in the records, as a matter of fact, the marketplace that you're getting now is based on those old advices that other ministers came in and chose to ignore because they wanted to do it their way. Ronaldo thing ain't no good. I'm the minister now. What these ministers did, they went back to the drawing board and said, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There was an advice sitting there from 2017 from the New Works Department and the Tourism Department of St. Martin. And had they just picked that up and done it, rather than give our tents, we would have had a situation now. But like many things in this government, Mr. Chairman, that you and I both know, we make sure we pick up the slack for wherever others have failed. And I am confident, and I know the minister is watching right now, Minister Lambrix, let's prove everyone right. Let's get this done. Council of Ministers, I'm calling on you to handle this, provided that all the advices as outlined are there in time for the 23rd, and let's get this done. And please, one thing I do agree, you all need to be informed. It's unfortunate that it seems for a long part of it, you were in touch with a member of the cabinet that unfortunately couldn't have given you the answers that you had deserved. But I'm confident with the current cabinet and minister that we have, they will ensure that they keep you up to date every step of the way. I will, as a matter of fact, encourage them at least 2 to 3 times a week. Keep you all up to date on how this process is going. You have my commitment that I will be on them every couple of days to say, did you update the vendors? How is the process going? That is my commitment to you. And if there's anything that goes wrong between now and then, I know when I also have to, as a responsible leader, also question my ministers and ensure that they're doing what needs to be done. I thank you all once again for the presentation. I thank all of them for their attention. And I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Bryson, for your comments, for your updates. Was there any particular question that you had raised to get an answer? Nothing.
Yes, for the association.
For the association, are you ready to answer that? Press it. Yes, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm going to say through you, Mr. Chairman, to MP Bryson, thank you for the questions. He did ask more than one question because I have it noted down. Okay, he asked a question and he made some statements. He asked about who are we if we are a councillor. Mr. Chairman, when the letter was sent to Parliament, because in his statement he said that there are vendors who don't agree with what we are doing today. Mr. Chairman, I have no idea where that comes from or came from. But when we came and we brought in the letter for us to speak to the committee about the marketplace, if you have it or if you can refer back to it, you would see the signatures of the vendors who accompanied that letter. So the letter did not come in by itself. It came in with signatures. And the only reason why the vendors are not here this morning is because there is a ship in. because all of those vendors, and even the vendors who are down at the water plant, you know we have vendors there too, Mr. Chairman, even the vendors down at the water plant, they wanted to know, and which they have spoke to me and asked me if the Parliament cannot schedule this meeting on a day when they don't have ships so they can be here. So, Mr. Chairman, where that statement come from, I have no idea, but I know we are here and we are representing all, and I mean all, the vendors who asked us to represent them. I am from St. Kitts, and we have these three are from Haiti. I'm the only one here from St. Kitts. Mr. Place had to leave because he has a doctor appointment, so that's why he's not here. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Bryson mentioned about calling Mr. Theo Heiliger's name, the good man's name. Mr. Chairman, if Mr. Heiliger was sitting in the pew today, he won't mind if I called his name on helping us and doing what he did for us by building a marketplace that we had there. I have called Mr. Lawrence, Minister Lawrence, and I have called Minister Otley's name about running with the plan of the marketplace. I got no pushback on it. Mr. Chairman, if this marketplace is being built today, and Minister Lambrecht is the one that did it, who do you expect the vendors to say did it? We have to say it was done by Minister Lambrecht, because he is the one who we know that pushed you with the plan and did it for us. So this is why I have mentioned Mr. Theo Heiliger's name, because he was the one back then who pushed you with that plan and got that marketplace built for us, those booths up. So I am privileged and honored, and I know he would be honored that I call his name, that he did that project for us to have booths that we could have worked on. Mr. Minister, Mr. Chairman, to you, Mr. Bryson, mentioned that we were not properly informed by the person who was working with the minister. This is why we did not get any information. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kevin Mangret was our contact point. He was given our contact point by Mr. Omo Otley. And we were always up to brief. When I call him, he always let me know the truth, what is happening. He never lied. He never said that this is going to happen, and he know it's not going to happen. And he always tell me the truth. He would say, Miss Grill, this is not going to happen now because this and this and this. Or this is what is going to go down because of this and this. Or this is what we have in talks. We are going on in talks now. So he always kept me up to brief. So, Mr. Chairman, we were always informed by Mr. Kevin Mangret whenever we speak to him of what is going on down with the marketplace. We were always informed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Grill. I see MP Bryson, you have a question on the same topic? MP Bryson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to clarify again because I don't want my words to be misrepresented. I did not say that Ms. Grill or anyone here doesn't represent the vendors. What I said is that the manner in which certain things were said, I got messages from some vendors that they do not agree with it. Maybe when you go back to speak to some of them, and I will ask them, and I actually suggested it, I said maybe you should tell her, and I won't say what their response was. But nonetheless, Mr. Chairman, what I would like to suggest, I was waiting to see if there were other speakers because I don't know if it's towards a conclusion where we can make proposals. You are speaking? Okay, then I'll do that towards the end.
Next person is MP Sarah Westcott Williams. MP Sarah Westcott, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to Ms. Grell for her presentation on behalf of the vendors at the Philipsburg Market and making a presentation and pointing out some of the obvious and some of the not so obvious situation at the marketplace in the way that Ms. Grell feels most comfortable in presenting and representing. Mr. Chairman, from a Parliament's perspective, and we don't have to go very far back, when amendments to the budget came for the Philipsburg Marketplace. 2021, it was a proposal to amend the budget that was received from the government that did not have on the marketplace. An amendment was made to take another capital allocation and put it towards the marketplace. Subsequently, we of Parliament received a budget with on the capital budget of government the Philipsburg Marketplace, only to see that capital budget via an amendment removed from the budget. Removed from the budget. Why was it removed? It was stated because the budget would be, the marketplace would be constructed by the Harbor Group of companies. The Harbor Group of companies. Mr. Chairman, that being, so that's where we stood with respect to the capital budget for the Philipsburg Marketplace to be built. So, New Year breaks, 2023. Minister Utley to meet with Royal Caribbean on the new marketplace. And the gathering, the meeting that Ms. Grell referred to was not front page, but it definitely was on page 3 of the Herald at the time. And a big picture with many of the vendors in the presence of Minister Utley. Minister Utley outlined the entire project to the vendors of the marketplace. A couple of days later, we had Minister Lambrix. So this is towards the end of January 2023. Another article in the Daily Herald with respect to the investment in the Philipsburg Marketplace. Lambrix. The headline for that article was, "The country can find ways to invest in refueling station for LNG." But in that article, the minister said, and I quote, he looks forward to a follow-up Zoom meeting with Royal Caribbean Cruise Line concerning the new marketplace in Philipsburg and continuing discussions on the proposed water park and boutique hotel, which are near final decisions. The minister intends to see these projects through to fruition, as they are all great initiatives for all parties involved. But we didn't stop there, Mr. Chairman. The Minister Lambrix, in February had a meeting with the SHTA in which he outlined his immediate plans during a 2-hour-long meeting with 8 board representatives of the St. Martin Hospitality and Trade Association, SHTA. The minister made it clear that in a competitive tourism market, it is of great importance that attention is paid to upkeep and beauty of the tourism product. SHTA said, so quoting from that meeting, The association, SHTA, wholeheartedly agreed with the minister's conviction pertaining to beautification. And it continued. Within the same context of choosing improvement over expansion of the tourism product, SHTA shared various economic indicators with the minister, showing effort is still needed to bring the destination back to the 2016 situation. And in that article with SHTA, the private sector sees more government investment in destination marketing as an essential for economic growth. And so, Mr. Chairman, like the vendors' representatives have questions, I too, as a member of parliament, have questions. And Mr. Chairman, if you care to research the records of parliament, it will become evident that this is definitely not my first round of questions with respect to the Philipsburg Market Place. And in particular, the part that we are responsible for as parliament, and that is ensuring that there is capital budget to do what needs to be done. So, Mr. Chairman, February 13, 2023, a letter to Minister Lambrix regarding the Philipsburg Market Place rebuilding. And I refer to my letter of May 2022 regarding the Philipsburg Market Place. And I said to the minister in the letter of February 23 that my letter of May 22 is self-explanatory. And I quoted from the articles that I just read. And I stated, earlier this year, the acting minister of CTEATT in a statement stated that a follow-up meeting was to be held with the project financiers of the new marketplace, Royal Caribbean, in the week of January 7th. In reporting on the trip, the minister's trip to the 2023 FCCA Panama Cruise Virgin Voyages experience at the end of January, the minister said, and I quote, a follow-up Zoom meeting with RCG concerning the new marketplace in Philipsburg and continuing discussions on the proposed water park and boutique hotel, which are near final decisions. So my questions at the time, February 2023, is the agreement with Royal Caribbean International to construct the Philipsburg Marketplace finalized? If so, what does this agreement entail? Was Royal Caribbean just out of the goodness of their heart going to build for us a marketplace? Or was it an agreement that entailed more than the Philipsburg Marketplace? I asked in February of 2023, please provide a copy as requested by me in May of last year, as well as a status report on the reconstruction of the Philipsburg Marketplace soonest. So, Mr. Chairman, no answer, not even the decency to say, I received your letter. I don't think I should answer. I don't think I can answer. I don't think I want to answer. I just don't think I'm answering. Not a word in response to this. So nothing happened. We hear promises of April and June, etc., etc. And then, or suddenly then it became an issue of our budget 2023, which needs to be amended also for the approved capital funds. The budget needs to be amended to include a multi-annual projection of the capital projects for which we received approval, the 60 million guilders. In the budget 2023, the capital amount for the budget 2023, listen carefully, is much higher than the approved 60 million guilders. The capital budget 2023 is much higher than the approval of 60 million that went through the CFT and will be financed via the central bank, for which the notification has already been made. However, the choices for the 60 million guilders capital budget was based on the projects ready to go. On the projects ready to go, which should, based on the articles to which I referred, which should include the Philipsburg Market Place. So what do we see? So while we're waiting, keeping our fingers crossed to hear this timeline from the minister, when it's going to happen, we just heard a date of December the 1st for reconstruction to start. Reconstruction to start. What about the relocation? How is that going to take place? Between today and December the 1st is a question, Mr. Chairman, that through you and this committee, I would like to have posed to the minister. The minister is accountable to members of parliament. So how is that going to happen? One. Two. In the bigger scope of things, can our vendors, and it is a question, and if it is not possible, then just let it be stated. A question I would like, via this committee, posed to the minister. Can the vendors, for the time of the reconstruction, allocation, whatever have you, be given a reprieve in terms of paying, I'm not saying their taxes, listen carefully, in terms of paying their monthly fee for their vending license? Is my question I would like posed to the minister. For a few months, whatever the case may be, can that be taken into consideration? Mr. Chairman, so I look forward to getting answers from the minister of TEATT, the one in the executive branch, the one sitting in the Ministry of TEATT and responsible for tourism, economic affairs, transportation, and telecommunication. Mr. Chairman, so I hope my second question is also noted. Mr. Chairman, I heard the issue of medical insurance. And Mr. Chairman, again, you would know that I have been advocating, given the fact that the general health insurance announced previously to go into effect on the 1st of January 2024, and subsequently been told that no, it can't happen, and my response that since the general health insurance will not go into effect on January the 1st, 2024, I asked the minister, and I hope to get an answer to this when the minister comes to Parliament on Wednesday on this topic, to at least deal with the vendors, taxi and bus drivers, and sole proprietors, where their medical insurance is concerned. Most of these persons fall between the crack where medical insurance is concerned. And the minister has the responsibility. Let me explain why we are where that matter is concerned. The biggest insurance administrator for the private sector is the SZV. The SZV is all about the working population. So the insurance is also for the workers. However, because of how the law is formulated at this time, a sole proprietor is not considered an employee, a worker, and thus does not fall under the insurance administered by SZV. The irony, sad irony, is that a director of an NV, because he or she is a worker, once under the limit of the SZV, can receive SZV insurance. Mr. Chairman, during my discussion on this topic in the presence of the Minister of VSA, I also included the fact that while the Ministry of Justice is talking about upgrading the status of persons who, through no fault of their own, do not have legal residency on St. Martin, offering that possibility. And I want to add a PS here that the General Audit Chamber has asked that that matter, that particular action of the Minister of Justice be put in a very clear policy. But that's just a little annotation to the point that I'm getting to with respect to the medical insurance for, as we call them, independent workers, independent professionals, independent proprietors. Mr. Chairman, in that meeting with the Minister of VSA on the topic of medical insurance, I highlighted the issue that some of our documented immigrants face where their medical insurance is concerned. So while we are fixing their status, so to speak, but what about their insurance? Because again, and I highlighted a case, I mentioned a particular case, just as an example to the minister, where this health insurance is concerned. And so this gentleman came to St. Martin, undocumented, whatever have you, and his status was rectified via the Brooks Tower Accord. Subsequently, that permission of his was put into an indefinite residency. Indefinite residency. However, the gentleman that is on minimum or below minimum wage was supposed to have a private insurance. How he gonna manage that? How? To further complicate things, based on his permission, he was able to bring his wife via the Ministry of Justice. Wife gets permission to be here with the husband, but needed a private insurance. So this couple is walking around with permission to be in the country that could not be finalized because they can't show this private insurance. And Mr. Chairman, as fate would have it, again, unfortunately, the gentleman in that condition, where his medical health or medical coverage is concerned, got a stroke. Went to the hospital, received first attention, emergency attention, and was returned home because of the lack of medical coverage. And this is just an example that I know of in detail. But imagine how many whose position and status is now being fixed find themselves in a similar situation, not being able to get medical coverage, not being able to work when they're sick because they don't have medical coverage. And yet, we love to talk about the issue of wanting to meet the goal of alleviating poverty. Yet we want to talk about that. So, Mr. Chairman, in addition to wherever the marketplace situation is, and if we could get an update, and if we can understand why did the Minister of Finance, according to press reports, state that he has not received the, for the lack of a better word, the dossier from the Ministry of CTEATT. Was that a slip of the tongue by the Minister of Finance? Does he not have this project to be financed? Or is this something that is going on outside of Parliament and it's considered political and what have you, and we should not pay attention to that? So, is Royal Caribbean still in the picture for the Philipsburg Marketplace? If not, why? And what was the initial agreement with Royal Caribbean for the marketplace? Secondly, the marketplace is in the capital budget. Is the marketplace project at such a stage that indeed, come December 1st, ground laying for a new marketplace can take place? If it is there, why did the Minister of Finance basically throw the responsibility for the marketplace back in the lap of the Ministry of CTEATT and say, well, I don't have it on my desk, neither did my cabinet receive it? And then, Mr. Chairman, the overall question pertaining to this issue and more, such as payment to the justice workers, by the way, the budget, the amended budget 2023. Mr. Chairman, unless the website of our Council of Advice is not up to date, the amended budget 2023 has not yet reached the Council of Advice. I want to repeat, unless the site of the Council of Advice that shows which requests, which draft laws have been received by the Council of Advice, so unless it is not up to date and the Council of Advice did get the draft budget, the draft amended budget 2023, my question is, so where is the budget if it's not yet by the Council of Advice? Unless it can be ascertained that the Council of Advice needs to update its website and it is to be added to the website of the Council of Advice as having been received from government. So in this whole discussion, the overarching question is, where is the amended budget 2023? God's willing, on the 11th of January, there will be an election on St. Martin for the new parliament. Are we going to see matters such as these come out? So, for example, where the justice workers are concerned, that on the 10th of January 2024, they will be paid because the next day's election, we saw it in 2020. The Philipsburg Marketplace. Is it really going to be, we're going to have a groundbreaking on the 1st of December, or we're going to have it on the 10th of January 2024? And my questions that I would like via this committee to be put to the Minister of CTEATT and, where necessary, the Minister of Finance and the one of Rumi. They are the ones that should provide answers to the Parliament of St. Martin. Mr. Chairman, my questions are not for the representatives of the Philipsburg Market Place Vendors today, because, as we have heard, the vendors have their own questions and want solutions themselves. But I would like, as a matter of urgency, that the questions that are outstanding from members of Parliament and from the vendors, that the Minister of CTEATT would find it in his heart to respond and not act as he has acted with my questions and others on the matter of the Philipsburg Marketplace. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Sarah Westcott-Williams. Basically, you're to the whole government with all the questions, and I believe most of the ministers who are responsible to answer, we should be getting the answers. And I don't think so you had any question for Ms. Grill. Now we move on to the next speaker is MP Grisha Halliger Martin. No? MP Bryson, you have the floor.
I thought MP Panther was first, or should I go ahead?
MP George Panther, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me start by thanking Ms. Grell for a very detailed presentation. We know for a fact that what was said was properly prepared, and when you talk about what you're experiencing, it is very easy to do so. There's a lot I can say, Mr. Chairman, regarding the issue of the market. I pass there very often. There were times when I too stopped and said, you know, it's going to be done by the end of this month and so on, September. I said that to myself, so again, I know how that goes. Mr. Chairman, my biggest, not concern, but all I want to see happen is that the market construction on its way to completion begins this year. With all what was said and so on, Mr. Chairman, for me, what is of the most important is what was said by Ms. Grell, representing the vendors, that they are suffering, have been doing so for too many years, Mr. Chairman. And I believe it is time now that a lot of the talks, a lot of the promises that were made, and yes, we understand when you have to do things together, you depend on someone else. If they don't do their part, it can delay your part. That's a reality. That's a reality. But the fact is, as I said, the issue is what the vendors want to see is a proper market where also when you want to urinate or whatever, that you have a proper place to go also. And when the tourists come also, Mr. Chairman, that they too can also ensure that they have a proper place for that too. So, Mr. Chairman, having said that, I have questions for the Minister of CTEATT, Mr. Lambrix. I too have remained in contact with him. I have known about the changes because I've spoken to him in June, in July, August, September, October, up to recently. And that is why I always said we have to be very particular in setting dates unless we are sure that those dates can be
MP
achieved.
George, we'll have to interrupt because there's no quorum. We need 6 factions.
We have 6, we have 6, no, 5.
We'll adjourn the meeting for 10 minutes. Meeting.
10?
Okay, we'll adjourn the meeting for 5 minutes. Meeting adjourned. Welcome back. Welcome back. MP George, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So let me just close up because I believe even though it was stopped, it was being recorded. So I don't want to repeat myself too much. Simply to say that I believe that what the vendors want to see now is action and no more talk. And I believe the possibility exists for that to take place. A lot of things were mentioned which I can agree with, especially the part of the issue of the taxes and so on, or the fees that are paid annually. That can be looked into seriously, because if you don't make an income, then how can you pay expenditures? So, Mr. Chairman, having said this, I definitely await the appearance of the Minister of CTEATT once he's invited to Parliament in order to answer some very pertinent questions in relating to how we stand with regards to the market and when will it become a reality. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP George. I see MP Richardson wants to speak. MP Richardson, you have the floor.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to my colleagues. Good morning to the Market Council that we have here today, or representatives that we have here today. Mr. Chairman, I'm happy that this meeting is convened. And why? Because I also believe, just like the market people sitting in front of us here today and presented to us, that it's high time that the market be constructed. Mr. Chairman, I believe we should have the minister here today, but he will be in here soon, so that's where all the questions will be asked and answers given. But we also heard some answers by Mr. Bryson, who have spoken to the minister and so forth, and that was great information. What I can say that didn't take place was information. Information was not given in appropriate time, and this is what we get from the representative of the marketplace. What was said, what is the holdup, was said by Ms. Grell of the marketplace. Well, the minister will have to practically let those who are representing the marketplace, why is it hold up and why is it being taken so long. However, I believe none of the structures that was there was appropriate from the beginning till now. I practically was not in Parliament when they took them down, but I happened to be passing there, and I saw them take them down, and I say it was unfortunate that something like this happened. If you're going to take it down, you must have somewhere to place those persons who are trying to make a living for their family over the years. And you should also consult with them, and apparently that was not done at the time. Also gathered from Ms. Grell and her team there that there were signs, I think, by the peer, and I believe those signs are marketing signs. I believe they should be placed other places also, you know, not just by the small pier or what have you, by the harbor also. And me and my colleague was consulting together, and we was talking about your taxes, since you're going to be moved, and there might be limited opportunity for you to make sales, that we will discuss this with the ministers who are the appropriate ministers who are in charge of this, and see what they can do for you guys. But I also heard that the MP Westcott mentioned that also here today, so that is good news. I will leave it there for now, and I want to say I stand with those persons who are here today representing, and I'm happy that they are here to represent themselves. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Richardson. The next person I see is MP Solange Duncan. MP Duncan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to you. Good morning to the colleagues. Good morning to the ladies here from the marketplace. Mr. Chairman, I am also happy to hear from the ladies directly and from Ms. Grill, and I have a little story to share. Not only did I used to or every so often walk through the marketplace and just greet everyone, but I have purchased from the marketplace. I believe in the market, and like Ms. Grell mentioned, markets all over the region. They hold a special place in not only the economy, but in our culture as well. So I have a painting upstairs from the artist, from the gentleman there, and you know, I've took my daughter through the marketplace to buy products. So, you know, it is a part of, or should be a part of, you know, our experience, not only shopping, but also just who we are. Marketplaces play an important role in the society. It's not only for the tourists, it's for us too. One afternoon, I was walking through the marketplace and Miss Grell was cursing. She was upset. And she probably is often upset. And she has a right to be. And she was talking about the politicians of this country. And I remember stopping and listening to her, and I couldn't say anything. I didn't have a response for her. Why? Because what can I say? And I am a so-called new politician, and I'm gonna be an old one just now. Yeah, because it is a shame about what is happening in this country. It is shame. And I feel shame. And that's why, honestly, I stopped walking through the marketplace as much. I just go on the side, and I just greet the ladies on the side. Because there is nothing that I could say to the ladies that would make them feel better. I am not going to make any empty promises to them. And I wish we had a budget here in Parliament in which we could execute. Why? Because this is a part of what we do. We give a platform to the people, and that is an important platform. Why? Because maybe if those who have the power hear it directly from those concerned, something would happen. So I would say to the ladies directly, don't wait 2 weeks to go to the ombudsman. Go to the ombudsman. Because, and I told the ombudsman this as well, or I said when she was here, we all have a role to play. So us in Parliament, we have a job to do now that we have heard the ladies directly. We will write a report. There are letters that will be sent. Those of us that can do more, hopefully will do more. The ombudsman has a role to play as well, because she has a role to play as a defender of the people and say, hey, government, you're making promises that you're not keeping, and I hope that avenue too can be used to get some pressure. But we all have a part to play, and again, it is not only a disgrace, but a shame to how we treat our people in this country. The state of Philipsburg is like, I mean, come on. Every day we walk through Philipsburg. So it is not only about how the ladies are being treated or the conditions, and the men as well, how they have to work. But just walking through the streets, I mean, how long is it going to be? It's been 5 years since Irma. I don't understand. I myself feel powerless. Imagine me in this position, feel powerless. I don't know what else we could do. And government is responsible because they are the ones who have to execute. So whoever it is, you know, a number of different ministers have a role to play, a number of different ministers. And so I am happy that the ladies were given this platform to voice their concerns. I hope it puts pressure on government to do something about it. Why? Because it's been way too long. It's been way too long. I only have, Mr. Chairman, a couple of questions to the ladies. One, I just want to understand more clearly what is paid to, I guess it's the receiver's office. So I just want to understand exactly, because I know you're supposed to have an invoice to go and pay, or just what exactly is being paid by the market vendors every year to government. What is the name of that fee? Because I don't know if is it a tax, but just so that I understand more clearly. And I think that is the only question that I have for now. Again, thank you to the market vendors and the ladies, and I really hope that something can be done. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Solange Duncan. I look at to my right. If she has the answer, you could answer right away. Ms. Grell, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, to answer the question of MP Duncan, we have a yearly tax that we have to pay for our permit. Our license is a it's a stand plant license, and it is issued under the CTEATT office, the CTEATT office. It is issued from there. In order for you to get a license, for you to be there, you have to put it into the CTEATT office, and they would issue you the permit to be there. So it's issued from, and for the permit alone, I'm not speaking about our income tax that we would have to pay, and our AOV and ZOV and those that you have to pay for your pension. It's not that. The tax for the stand plant permit that we have there, it's $1,200 per year. Hope I answer your question, MP Duncan. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Grell. Now I see MP Bryson. MP Bryson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Like I was saying, I wanted to wait towards the end to maybe propose in order to ensure that they get the answers as soon as possible, as well as Parliament, but also us. I know we mentioned a report of the meeting. I think that's necessary. But the specific questions, because a report is really a full report of everything that was said, if other members of the committee agree, that also a list of the specific questions that were asked are put together as soon as possible and sent to the minister asking for a reply before the end of the week. If that is something that we can do, that somehow, and maybe what would help is if whatever questions we had, if we send it to the Secretary General so that they can be compiled and sent on to the minister asking for an urgent answer, and also suggesting that those are directed to the committee, but also directly to the vendors so that they get answers as soon as possible. That would be my proposal.
Thank you, MP Bryson. MP Grisha Halaga-Martin, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to Ms. Grell for your presentation. Mr. Chairman, I agree with MP Bryson to at least finalize that report and set a deadline, a date for them to return to Parliament. And while MP Bryson was speaking, I just wanted to add to that report, and hopefully soon we can get our report out this week if possible. I don't know how soon we can, SG. I know you're looking at me. I have a few statements to make. I wasn't going to say anything, but I just have a few statements to say. First and foremost, I'd like to state we need to stop living in the past. You know, when a new government gets in, look at the issue that's there, whatever issue that's there, try to become more solution-oriented. And what we've been seeing during the last 3.5 years is this government stating many times over and over, but they made this problem. That's the issue. They did, but find the solution. You see, through you, Mr. Chairman, when Ms. Grell stated that Mr. Heiliger was the one that created the last beautiful, I see the picture right now, the beautiful marketplace that's there. It really uplifted town. But when Mr. Heiliger told the market vendors that he is going to build, it's because he did his homework, the money was there, and he was ready to execute. That's how he works. And I think he spoiled you, because you're accustomed of hearing, this is the date, and you're accustomed of seeing the date being executed on. You waited April, you had June, you had September. And now you're hearing from a MP, not the minister, that it's December 1st. But in addition to that, you also stated through you, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Grell also stated that she don't want no one to be playing politics with her. But let me state for the record, Mr. Chairman, no one is playing politics with her. It seems that politics is being played inside the collision. Because here you go, Mr. Mingret stated a few days ago, or just yesterday, that the Minister of Finance stated, and I would like to ask this through you, Mr. Chairman, directly to the Minister of Finance, if he will refute this. The Minister of Finance stated that he will not be giving the, allowing Mr. Mingret to gain votes on this project, and he will not be funding the projects to allow Mr. Mingret to gain votes. This came from Mr. Mingret's statement yesterday. If that's the case, if that's not so, I would like the Minister of Finance to refute that. Because if by December 1st, as stated by a member of Parliament here, the project is not executed, then I can conclude then that is a fact. Because if a member in Parliament in here stating that by December 1st construction is starting, that means the money is there. That means everything is in place. Let's pray and hope, Mr. Chairman, that politics, internal politics, is not being played at the mercy of the vendors. So I walk through that marketplace every morning. And if I don't pass, if they see me pass around, it's after 10 in the morning because I know they have visitors, they have their clients, and I don't want to interrupt them. But every morning when I'm in here, I pass through there and I can see the stench. Mr. Chairman, prior to even arriving at the marketplace, I look at the bins next to the old government building with all the dirt, the muck. It is a filth. Philipsburg has become a filth, a muck. And you mean to tell me, Mr. Chairman, some of the members are having issues with what is being said? Nasty running water, feces all over the place? You mean to tell me we couldn't have some small, low-hanging fruits, like signage for them? Now, I hope, Mr. Chairman, again, I'm going to ask the Minister of CTEATT for the record. Since they're going to be starting the project December 1st, which is in the season, Mr. Chairman. This is the height of the season. Are they going to 1,000,000,000% put signage to make sure the people know where the vendors are? Because it's even farther now. So are the signage going to be placed in the height of the season? I mean, Mr. Chairman. And another question for the record. I just heard that Ms. Grell stated, through you, Mr. Chairman, that the Minister of CTEATT stated that he's going to be getting the tent or someone, I don't know who stated it, a tent from the airport. So how is this possible, Mr. Chairman? So how is it that the Minister of CTEATT, the ministry, just takes up the airport tent to give to the vendors? How administratively is this done? That's my question to the Minister of CTEATT. You're just going to promise them, hey, we're getting the tent from the airport. You have rights to that? You could just pick it up like that? Explain me the process. Explain me that too, Mr. Chairman. So I will be looking forward to December 1st because I didn't see April, I didn't see June, I didn't see September. And let's see if internal politics is being played with these vendors. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Grisha Halliger Martin. I see no further MPs needing to ask any questions or remarks. And I would take the suggestion of MP Bryson that he just made, that why not all the MPs send the questions, whatever they ask, to the relevant ministers in writing to the Secretary General. So within a couple of days, we can prepare something and send it to the minister to answer them back as quick as possible. And I would see if there's any other option. I see MP Sarah Westcott-Williams would like to add on to that. MP
Yes.
Sarah, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I don't have an issue per se with the suggestion. However, I don't see why the report of this committee with the questions should have any delay. Because if we get into then for us now to go put our questions in writing, this is a committee meeting, a report should be made, and based on that, with the questions, that report can be sent to the government. So just that we don't get into a situation and then I send in my questions, which I have the right to do outside of committee meetings, and that those two things don't get confused, just that if you understand what I'm saying. So I would prefer the report of this committee to be one of a short report and specifically the questions as asked with a deadline to the minister that these be answered. And then we got the process straight and smooth. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Sarah Westcott-Williams. MP Bryson, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, again, my suggestion is only based on expediency. Strictly speaking, a committee report is a verbatim report of all that was said. Not to say that that's not important, that just will take maybe slightly more time. So my suggestion is just to make sure that the questions get there as soon as possible. That's the only reason I'm asking, because unless we're, well, I heard the MP mention like a abbreviated report. I'm not sure, I don't want to quote her wrong. But if we're doing a full report, that will just take a bit longer, and that maybe it's really about some of the statements, the questions. I'm just looking at expediency so that everyone can get the answers as soon as possible. That's the only suggestion I was making.
Thank you, MP Bryson. And it's a fact, I just asked Secretary General, and she said by Monday the report will be ready to send out. But if we want to do it much quicker than that, if members of parliament can send their questions as asked before, I believe we can send in everything in writing to the minister in this week itself. So if that is the case, it's up to you. And if by tomorrow, day after we receive the questions, we will send it out. Thank you, members of parliament. And I look to my right if for any things, Ms. Grill, you have a closing remark of 1 minute or 2 minutes? Yes. You have the floor.
On behalf, I'm going to state it again for the last time in Parliament, we are representing the marketplace vendors. On behalf of the marketplace vendors, we want to say thank you to you, Mr. Chairman, Mrs. Gomes, and the MPs for giving us this time and this podium where we can voice our grievances and what is going on with us in the marketplace. We appreciate everyone for being here this morning, for listening to us, and we appreciate every question. We thank for every question and for everyone who intervened and who cares, who show that they cares about what is happening to us. We look forward for our question to be answered by the ministers in a timely way. And Mr. Chairman, as we heard from MP Bryson that the marketplace will be constructed the 1st of December. Mr. Chairman, I hope this is not another gimmick. This is not another play. Because we take things seriously, because we're serious people. So we hope that this is not being said as a fun, or just to tell us something to make us feel good, you know? Because, Mr. Chairman, we are not looking for things to make us feel good. We are looking for answers, and we want results, and it's results that we're after. So, Mr. Chairman, I thank everyone for their time, which was allotted to us, and we appreciate everyone, and we appreciate you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Ms. Grill. I would like to thank the representatives of the Philipsburg Market Place Vendors for their presence here today and for providing the information. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this meeting. I thank you all for your participation, and I hereby close this meeting.